For centuries, the Galactic Concord had labeled Earth as a Category E planet, primitive, unstable, and largely ignored in the grand order of space. Humanity, as far as the other species were concerned, had just barely discovered faster-than-light travel a few hundred years ago. Nothing about them seemed special. No advanced tech, no psychic potential, no unique genetics. Just warlike monkeys crawling out of their blue dirt ball. But the thing about humans? They were always underestimated. Captain Reeve Varath of the Zilari fleet had been stationed near Earth's sector for 11 cycles. It was a dull assignment: monitor trade, prevent illegal mining in the Oort region, and occasionally shoo away rogue scavenger drones. Not once had Earth stirred any real interest. Until the day it happened. A ripple, like a tremor through hyperspace, cracked across a dozen systems. It wasn't an explosion, not a warp drive, not anything in the recorded galactic database. It was a frequency hum. A signal. Old, layered in ancient code, but unmistakably human. "What the hell was that?" his XO, Lieutenant Serac, hissed as the bridge lights flickered. Reeve narrowed his eyes at the pulsing data on his screen. "It's not possible. This frequency predates FTL communications by millennia. This is old war tech, pre-empire, pre-any known empire." "Source?" Serac asked. Reeve hesitated, then cursed under his breath. "Earth, deep under their southern ocean." Within days, a dozen fleets turned their eyes to Earth, some out of curiosity, others out of fear. The Council demanded answers. The humans, as always, said little. Their ambassadors gave vague denials, diplomatic shrugs, and empty reassurances, until the second signal pulsed. This time it wasn't just a hum, it was a reveal. A massive gate, hidden beneath the Mariana Trench, rose to the surface. It groaned with age, but not decay. The alloy wasn't Zithic steel, nor Zarnian shell tech. It was something older, something none of them had ever seen before. Then the truth began to unravel. Hidden beneath Earth's oceans, buried under tectonic plates, and cloaked from even the most advanced scanners, lay 12 warships. Not just any warships, behemoths, each the size of a small moon. They were powered down, but not broken, sleeping, waiting, still perfectly preserved. And worse, they bore no name from any known civilization, no alien markings, no signs of reverse engineering. They were built by humans. The galaxy lost its mind. "How long have you had these?" demanded Chancellor Rickarn during an emergency council meet, his tentacles thrashing. Ambassador Harlan Cho, dressed in Earth's simple navy blue suit, offered a tired smile. "A long time." "You lied to the Concord," spat a representative from the Kadari hive. "We never said we didn't have them," Cho replied calmly. "You assumed we were weak. We saw no reason to correct that assumption." "You were primitive class. That puts you under disclosure laws." Cho leaned forward, voice dropping to a whisper that still echoed across the hall. "That classification was never meant for us. You made it up to keep us under watch. You feared what we might become, and yet you had no idea what we were." Some demanded war, others demanded immediate deactivation of the warships. A few, the smarter ones, just sat in silence, realizing a horrifying truth. Humanity hadn't just arrived in the galaxy late. They had been here first. And they'd left behind monsters. The day the warships surfaced, Earth changed forever. Not just in the eyes of the galaxy, but in how it saw itself. For centuries, humans had believed their history was linear, a slow crawl from fire to flight, from stone tools to steel skyscrapers. But the truth was messier, buried deep beneath layers of deliberate silence. They weren't just discovering the warships, they were remembering them. At the Pacific Defense Command in Tokyo, General Elena Hart stared at the floating colossus rising from the ocean. Waves crashed against its sides, but the vessel stood tall, immovable, ancient, humming with a kind of power that didn't belong in any modern war book. "Any movement?" she asked. "None," her lieutenant replied, "but sensors indicate internal systems are waking up. Not all at once, slowly, like it's testing the air." Elena's jaw clenched. The Council was pressuring Earth's governments for access. The Qadari wanted boarding rights. The Valeri Confederation issued an ultimatum: dismantle the warships or face sanctions. The Durrell Empire had already moved a small fleet near the moon. For observation, they claimed. But Earth didn't blink. Not this time. Not when the past was resurfacing in steel and silence. Back in Geneva, Ambassador Cho sat in a locked-room briefing with the Unified Earth Council, a body that until now had existed mainly to coordinate environmental treaties and economic alignment. Today, it stood as Earth's single voice. "Are we prepared to reveal the full archive?" one councilwoman asked, her voice tight. Cho shook his head. "Not yet. They're already afraid of what we've shown. If we tell them everything, we won't survive the next cycle." "But we must prepare Earth," said a man from the African Union. "Our own people don't know what's happening. These aren't just relics, they're weapons, from before history." "That's the problem," Cho replied. "We barely understand them ourselves." The truth was, the warships were part of a project so secret, so ancient, that it had outlived even the civilizations that birthed them. Most humans had no idea Earth had once spanned the stars, that before the fall, before the first silence, humanity had ruled parts of the galaxy. They had colonized systems, built megastructures, and fought wars that scarred planets beyond recognition. Then, suddenly, they vanished. Some called it the collapse, others the betrayal. Whatever name history gave it, the result was the same. Memory lost, records erased, technology abandoned and buried. These 12 warships were the last remaining fragments of that forgotten era. And now, they were waking up. One ship in particular, the Leviathan-class dreadnought Vigilant Winter, became active first. Its AI core reconnected with global networks using a data stream so ancient and encrypted, modern systems didn't even recognize it as code. But the ship knew where it was, and it knew who it belonged to. In the skies above the Pacific, drones and satellites picked up a message broadcast from the Vigilant Winter. It was short, clear, and terrifying. "Primary directive active. Enemy detected. Initialization sequence. War State Protocol 11. No one knew what War State Protocol 11 meant, not at first, but in the Durrell command vessel orbiting Earth, alarms flared. Captain Velterek was a seasoned commander. He'd fought in 9 campaigns across the Orion Arm, burned 3 rebel moons to cinders, and held the respect of both ally and enemy. But when the human ship came online, his instincts screamed. "Distance?" he barked. "5 planetary diameters, sir." "And it hasn't fired?" "No, sir. But look at this." His helmsman rotated the view. The Vigilant Winter wasn't just active.